What's going on, bitches? This is the Nothing But Niners crew. Myself, me, Mike, and Dylan bringing it to you, as we always do, live reaction show. Man, 0-6, 0-6. Well, most faithfuls got their cherry pop today with CJ Beathard on the scene.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, what's going on, man?
I'm good. What's going on, Dylan? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I think your car is starting to drown out a little bit of what Nick was saying there.
My car?
That's all right.
I heard Nick say that the Niner fans got their wish. They got to see CJ Beathard start, or not start, but get some game time. So I guess that's as good a place as any to start, right? I mean, what do you guys think of the young QB coming in and playing?
Yep, I was wrong.
I can safely say that I transferred to Team Beathard 1 week in time. Because after last week, I said I'm the Team Beathard. I'm tired of Hoyer. And I'm glad I switched over. I really like the way he played. I know in the group message, we talked a little bit about brought up the fact that he was like really good. And yeah, of course he's going to. I'm not going to know exactly how to get it all together yet. But near the end of the game, you started to see him figure it out, really. He at one point he started maybe getting rid of the ball a little too early. So he just needs to find that happy medium there. And once he does, he should be able to find something as he continues with these starter reps now. I'm really confident with Beathard going forward.
Yeah, man, I was like pulling your guys' chain in our group chat about, oh, look, Beathard looks just like Hoyer, standing in the pocket, taking a ghost sack, you know. And I was just doing that just to bust people's chops. But after he took those first, like, 1 or 2 sacks, whatever it was, he started stepping up in the pocket. He started using his feet to run and get that first down, which I'm not big on with a quarterback. I've said that over and over again. I'd rather a quarterback stand in the pocket, take his presence, and throw the football. But CJ did a good job, man. In my eyes, he did a good job. Being a rookie, not getting as many reps as a starter would to preparation. You can see that he's prepared. He's hitting the playbook. A couple high throws, couple low throws, but that's all to be deemed necessary, you know, with a rookie coming in. The thing that made me super excited about was how the team did not fold underneath once he came out. They didn't be like, oh, damn it, here we go. They actually rallied around. They started making catches for some reason. They dropped a couple, which is killing us, but we'll get into that. But Mike, what's your overall
All right, so when I was there, I was watching everything unfold, and I saw him, you know, when Cam Inman said he's warming up on the sideline, I looked and I didn't see Beathard warming up on the sideline. I didn't see it at all. No one was throwing any passes or anything, but maybe he just saw him like stretching or something, because no one was throwing any passes on the sideline. When he did come in, though, you could tell, all right, a rookie is in. That first series for him just wasn't a good one at all. And the one good pass he did make on that series, it was dropped. I don't remember if it was Kittle that dropped the first one or if it was Breida. I know Hyde dropped one for him also. I mean, the drops are going to happen no matter who the quarterback is. But you got to see the guy settle down, and you can tell that they ran a very simplified offense once he got in, because he was not a part of the game plan. I can't tell you guys how excited I am to see what the game plan is going to be with him going forward and getting the starting reps all week long. And he's only getting a handful of reps as a backup, and it's just know the playbook. He might not know the game plan, but it's know the playbook. So now he's going to know the playbook, and they're going to develop a game plan around him. It's going to be a completely different looking offense. I know this isn't our Nothing But Niners fantasy podcast or video, but you okay? But I think this might be the beginning of George Kittle coming to life. His quarterback is finally under center, so I'm excited for the Kittle Beathard connection as well.
If he can catch it.
Yeah, that's true. So the other thing that I liked about Beathard was that he didn't seem rattled, like Nick said. It didn't seem like the moment was too big for him. You know what I mean? He was in there. He never looked rattled. It seemed like he was just physically not warmed up yet, but he never looked rattled. It didn't look like it was too big of a moment for him. Like a season interview, like that guy should be someone's quarterback because he's just too cool and too laid back, you know. So I'm excited to see what it's like. I enjoyed watching his post-game presser, and he even said he didn't get any extra snaps. It was the same as any other week. So all the people who are going to sit there and say, "Oh, I heard that he was going to get in this week," and all that stuff, it's all bullshit. There were no whispers. There were no rumors. He didn't even know he was going to get in this week. It was just a matter of what we see is what we get with Brian Hoyer. Now, before I stop talking, I do want to talk about Brian Hoyer really quick. This team doesn't seem to be able to move the ball unless it's a 2-minute drive. I don't care if it was Brian Hoyer. I don't care if it was C.J. Beathard. You saw what Beathard did at halftime, and you saw what he did at the end of the game. Those seem to be the only times this team can actually move the ball. One of you guys have the stats for me. I think that the two quarterbacks combined for like 23 of 47 attempts. There's no ability to move the ball, and the offense is just stagnant unless it's a 2-minute offense. Am I the only one that thinks that?
I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying.
The problem is we can't really establish a run game. I mean, yeah, we got 2 rushing touchdowns, but I mean, other than that, I think Hyde only had 23 rushing yards. Is that right?
Let me check it real quick.
I think it was 28. But either way, it's not enough. I think he had like 28 yards, some crazy shit like that. But right. It's not enough.
He had more receiving yards than he did rushing. And when you can't, when your offense is built around that type of play action, you got to have a rushing game. Like, I mean, you got to be averaging at least a minimum of like 3.5 yards per carry.
What I want to know is we saw a lot. We're seeing a lot of Breida lately. I don't know the actual numbers, but it almost looked like we saw maybe a little less than we had last week. But why? Okay, I like Breida. He's been pretty good out of the pass catching back. He had a really nice pass. He had a really nice catch that got the first down, and then he came in the same play right after that and had a nice rush. But other than that, he hasn't done much to really be taking all those snaps. I
think what puts them different is the speed. And I think Kyle Shanahan tried to utilize his Matt Breida's speed on the outside to get him those screen passes and stuff like that on the outside because he has a little more of an initial burst than Carlos Hyde. But I could be wrong. I mean,
yeah, I see what you're saying there, but it's just one of those things that I'm questioning why Kyle isn't keeping Carlos Hyde in there for more snaps, because I feel like Carlos Hyde could get more yards than he could establish the running game better if Kyle.
Right. Now, Mike, let me ask you a question. Do you think that with Hyde coming in and out of the game as much as he is, Hyde has always been a late starter. So do you think that's hurting Hyde's game because of the fact that he can't get into a rhythm?
Yes, I do. I think that Carlos Hyde is the type of guy. He's very similar to Frank Gore. First couple of carries, his first 7 or 8 carries aren't going to do anything. He's got to get into the flow. He's got to get comfortable behind his blockers and things like that. And they're destroying any rhythm that he can get. Now, that being said, he's got to man up, man. When your number's called, you got to be ready to go. So it's going to be a part of this game that's going to have to change. But it's a little difficult for those physical backs. It's a little difficult for those physical backs to just adapt this new style and just pick up and go. Physical backs like him, Frank Gore, Marshawn Lynch, even Adrian Peterson. And I'm not saying that he's on the level of any of those guys, but those are the kind of smash mouth backs that they have to get into rhythm. It's not something that you just pick up and say, all right, it's my turn now, I'm going. It doesn't work like that. They have to get a couple of carries to get their legs going and getting rhythm. Like chemistry is huge. It's not just everyone talks about chemistry between a quarterback and a wide receiver or his tight ends and his targets. It's more than just that also. I mean, the running backs have to know how their blockers move and the timing and how long am I waiting for the gap to open up behind the right guard? How long am I waiting for the gap to open up behind the left guard? Those are the kind of things that take time to get into. And every game is different because you're going up against a different opponent. It's not like you're facing the same guys week in and week out. So I do think it's hurting him. But as far as why, I think the Breida stuff is being inconsistent, because that's what Dylan's question was. And I'm going to have to go after I answer this because I'm going to lose reception. I'm going into a tunnel. But I think the reason Breida is inconsistent, his inconsistencies are why they're like changing up how much he's in and out. If he's not effective right away, I think they'd rather stick with Hyde, and that's what we're going to see a lot of.
Makes sense. So, Mike, are you going to rejoin us again after you get out of the tunnel? All right. Yeah, just make sure. All right. So, Dylan, let's just in case we do lose Mike, let's talk about a negative. Let's talk about the negatives in the game first. And what do you think were the negatives?
The negatives definitely come into the defense, in my opinion. But surprisingly, I don't know if I would say this is a weird way to word this. I'm going to try to do it correctly. But the secondary wasn't as terrible as normal. I think that's the best way I can say that. I thought the secondary made some good plays, and Dante Johnson had a really nice one in the end zone that I can remember. But what I liked most from the secondary is you saw a lot of plays where everybody was covered and Kirk had nowhere to throw it to. And that's something we're not used to seeing.
Why was that, though?
Good question.
I want to see what the splits were of snap count between Robinson, Akello, and Dante.
Yeah, I know Akello had some plays where I can remember one play in to be specific where he completely blew the coverage, and honestly, right after he blew the coverage, he gave up on the play. And that's not something you ever want to see. But
is that the one where Solomon Thomas came up and made the tackle?
Yes.
Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. And, that kind of stood out to me. And, I wasn't big on Akello in the beginning of the year. I was even on record saying he was a bust, but I didn't really mean it like he was a bust. I just meant like, damn, like, why can't we get this guy to play? But I think as a rookie, I think he stepped in, and I think he's still playing pretty decent. And I think he still has a lot to learn, obviously, because he is a rookie. Different type of speed from the collegiate level to the NFL level. So I think he'll come along. It looks like he's putting on a little more weight. Looks like he's being more physical. And that's all stuff that he needs to learn. But I can agree with you. My negative, once again, is the penalties in crucial times. Whether they're called or they're not called. We had a couple. Hey.
Your boy is back.
Boy is back.
All right, what did I miss? I'm sorry, guys.
We're talking about negatives, and we're talking about the defense being somewhat of a negative, but also Dylan said that the corners played a lot better than they have in the past, as in there was a lot of times where the Kirk couldn't throw it because nobody was open. And then we talked about Akello on the one play where he completely blew the coverage and then just kind of gave up on the play, and Solomon Thomas came up from the back and made the tackle on the play. And I was saying that I'm on record as calling him a bust because I wanted to see more of him in preseason than we did. But he's definitely looks like he's starting to learn the NFL ways and move forward. Looks like he's putting on a little more weight. He's actually being a little more aggressive. And, he is a rookie, so we can't hold that against him.
I agree.
All right, so I thought the defense took a big step back. The run game looked atrocious today. It seemed like if it was a short pass, like behind the line of scrimmage or a 1 or 2 yard pass, they were breaking the first tackle, and that seemed to be where they were killing us, like in between the tackles. You know what I mean? Like I felt like we were getting gassed there, and I think that's due to Eric Reed being a little rusty. I don't think Eric Reed had a tackle today. at all. I think he had like an assist tackle or something like that. I don't think he like solo tackle all game. And if you guys were paying attention to anything that Eric Reed did, he was one of the leading tacklers on the team the first 3 or 4 weeks before his injury. So I think that's something that, you know, we're going to have to shake some rust off there. So here's going to be the question that fans want to know, and I don't know if you guys have the live chat pulled up, but someone definitely should.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
Was Navarro Bowman's presence missed today? Because that's what fans are going to talk about. So I'm going to give you guys my little quick answer, and then you guys can go ahead and elaborate and give your opinions on it. But when it comes to Bowman, you can't say whether his presence was missed because Bowman was still a shell of himself, but his replacement playing a full game was just not good. Brock Coyle did make two good plays today, but he missed a lot of stuff. He just looked a little lost at times, and I didn't like seeing Brock Coyle. I really, really thought Foster was going to be playing today. I was disappointed to see the inactives, and I know Coach Shanahan said he needed one more week, but it is what it is. And Brock Coyle is just not – he's not a starter. I'm sorry. He's not. I don't care how much he knows his defense. You can know a defense all you want. I fully believe that Navarro Bowman knows this defense. You can know a defense all you want. If you physically can't do it, you can't do it. That's it. And so I think Bowman was missed because we needed someone to come in and spell Brock Coyle, and we just didn't have anyone to do that effective enough.
I definitely see what you're saying. But at the same time, whenever I looked through it, the only play that I saw that, and I may have just missed some plays, the only real play that I saw that Coyle really messed us up on, and it was only him that could have made the stop, was I can't remember who it was thrown to, but it was a little slant route right there, and Coyle just couldn't get to him in time. And honestly, whenever I saw that, I said, I don't even think Navarro Bowman would have made it there in time either. So I see what you're saying, but I don't think the presence of Navarro Bowman was missed. I think the presence of a good middle linebacker was missed.
Damn it, you stole it. I was going to say, I don't think Navarro Bowman was missed. I think the presence of a middle linebacker was missed. Someone who can move sideline to sideline. Somebody who can move, lateral and be able to tackle. I mean, we said it in the group chat. Somebody was talking about, and then Mike can go on. Somebody was talking about Coyle, and they gave the angry face. And I was like, it would have been the same outcome with Bowman in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's bad when I can say that. So, Mike, what do you think?
Again, it's less about Brock Coyle and more about having a rotation there. That's what my point is. It's less about Brock Coyle and Navarro Bowman as it is that we need someone to come out and take away reps so someone else can get rested. That's what I mean by it. I think that if we had Bowman and Coyle, I don't think that position play would have been that bad. If we had Foster and Coyle, I don't think that position's play would have been that bad. So it's a yes and it's a no, in my opinion, as far as was his presence missed. We needed someone else to come in and take some snaps away from him, relieve him at times. That's what I mean.
Okay. So if Foster's in there, do they run the ball as well as they did?
No, Foster's a game changer. And I may be jumping some type of gun by saying that, considering we saw, one quarter of his play. I don't care. I was at that 1 quarter of play, and it felt amazing watching that kid play. They do not run the ball. They do not pass the ball like they did over the middle. That would have been that defense would have been much better with Reuben Foster.
No. So you're saying stop being a hooker and give the man his candy?
Yeah,
well, all right. So here's my thing. If Foster was in, there was a play. I want to say it was like we had them at like second. It was second and really long. They got a decent play, and it was like 3rd and 12. And they did a little pass to the sideline, to the left side, and you saw Coyle trying to make that angle. Coyle landed face first trying to dive and make that tackle, and the guy got 14 yards and got the first down. It might have gone for more.
That's the one where he fumbled out of bounds?
Yeah. So that play right there, Foster would have blew his shit up on that play. 100% Foster would have destroyed that play. He would have sniffed that out so quick, it probably wouldn't even have gone close for the first down. But like that one play right there, I was like, damn. Like anybody else probably would have at least got there to try to stop him or slow him down a little bit. And that's Coyle's effort was 100%. I mean, he dove and gave it everything he had, and he completely face planted on the turf, but it just wasn't enough. And that's how I know someone else in there would have been okay.
When they showed the replay on that, Coyle was backpedaling, and he was looking up, and then he turned his head and looked back to a receiver. And then he's like, "Oh shit, I have to cover this guy out of the backfield." And then he hurried up and ran up, and his angle was way off, and completely whiffed on the tackle. And then I think it was Ward that made him fumble, make the tackle, made him fumble. But I know exactly what play you're talking about because it stood out. It definitely did. I
definitely want to talk about that real quick. I don't think he really fumbled it. I think he was down, but I'm happy that it happened. I think the only thing that happened is really they just didn't have the evidence to overturn it. So
you're talking about. I'm talking about the one on the sideline.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a different play.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're talking about the Vernon Davis play. That obviously wasn't a fumble, but there wasn't enough to turn over. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so my question is, why did it take so long for Dante Johnson to get in this game?
I don't know.
Like maybe he was in and I couldn't tell, but it looked like it was Akello Witherspoon and fucking Rashard Robinson in there for the first almost the whole first half. Or maybe was I wrong?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was probably like 2 or 3 plays, and then Johnson went back to right cornerback, and then Akello came in for Robinson.
I don't understand what they're doing, man. I don't understand what they're doing. I don't know if it's just further, like just super evaluation mode or what, like that stuff, man. Like, because Johnson made a couple of big plays today also. I mean, he let. What was that?
We had somebody that wanted to come in and talk a little bit. So I just sent him the link. His name's Slacks. He's going to come in and just give a little bit of his idea on that.
Slacks coming in again. Bringing it in, Slacks. I think we lost Mike for it. Oh, there he is. Mike, you got to change your picture. Oh, no, you got Patrick Willis up there. I don't put a picture up. So once Slacks gets in here, that's good. So what other negatives did you see? I saw one on offense, and that's Joe Staley. I don't know what's going on with him, man, but he's getting burned play after play after play. It seems like he's chasing the defender on almost every single play to keep him from getting a sack or pressure or anything else. Did you guys see that too, or is that just me? I
definitely saw exactly what you're talking about, and it gave Beathard his welcome to the NFL rookie hit. So, I mean, Staley does look like he's getting a little old, but it's definitely not the biggest weakness on this team.
No, definitely not. But Mike, what are your thoughts on that, Mike? All right, well, we don't have Mike. Slacks, what's going on, buddy? It's Nick. What's up? You got to take yourself off mute. Every time you come in here, your picture cracks me up. All right, so
what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Cool, it's working now. Last week I had to get on my shitty laptop, and now I can get on this mic, what I was originally trying to do last week. Alrighty.
Yeah, we got you now. So, Slacks, what's your overall thoughts on this game, man? Give us one of your negatives.
One of my negatives?
Yeah, one of your negatives.
Shit, basically, man, I was upset that the damn defensive line could get in and get no pressure at all. That bothered me the most.
I had
so shallow.
I had some beef with the defensive line too.
Let me be like honest from the jump. Like when the game kicked off, like the whole vibe just started so dull and dry, and it just felt like we didn't want waiting for it or nothing. Then the moment CJ came in, just that spark came alive. Like I literally got depressed at the top of the game. It just felt like nobody was fighting, nobody wanted it. And then it'll be like glimpse of people who always had that hunger that still want to, like Tart, CJ Ward, Ray, they still like play with their heart. Everybody else is just like, fuck it. But then as soon as CJ came in, just that spark came alive. It's like, okay, we're playing for something now.
For sure.
But shit. Oh, shit, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. So, Mike, Slack says that the defensive line was a negative for him. How do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, the defensive line, like I said, the run defense was bad, and that starts up front. I expected to do a much better job. I saw a lot of missed tackles. It looked for some reason like guys were doing a read and react while I was there. I saw a lot of bodies upright very early, very bad leverage going on throughout the entire game. Saw Eric Armstead make a play or two I was impressed with, but then he kind of just vanished for the rest of the game. And like I said,
he got hurt.
Right.
What was that?
He got hurt.
Oh, see, there you go.
I think he hurt his hand or something.
Yeah, he hurt his hand. So that's probably why you didn't take notice of that as him being missing, because he actually was. He was actually missing.
I had some line too, because I remember specifically the Kirk Cousins rushing touchdown. And I said something about it in the group chat that Solomon Thomas needed to
Keenan, your microphone.
I said something about it in the group message because Solomon Thomas needed to learn how to keep contained. And Eric Crocker also mentioned that sometimes it does have to be the linebacker or the safety that has that contain, and that D-end is crashing. But judging by the fact that nobody else was there and nobody touched him, I would assume Solomon Thomas was supposed to have that contain. And that just brings up one of the things that I haven't – one of the things that I've had beef with Solomon Thomas about from the beginning. It seems like he gets like a little too heavy and tries to cheat, and on plays like that, it'll burn him and it'll get that touchdown.
Yeah, I think he was definitely a little heavy-footed on some of those plays because, when we play Seattle type and they have that zone read, type of offense, there was a couple plays today that if Kirk didn't hand the ball off, would have went the same way that play did, like he did there. He held it, pulled it back in, and took off. Outside containment was definitely not there. The other thing that surprised me is some of the type of the zone defense we were playing where Earl Mitchell was running out in coverage as well. That was kind of weird. Not used to seeing that at all. So
yeah, I didn't like those specific sets where they had the D lineman in coverage. I remember one play where I think everybody but one D lineman was in coverage, and then he was just alone. It's a strange way to run it, but I mean, if it works, it works. I didn't personally like the D lineman in coverage because I feel like a D lineman in coverage never really works.
Yeah,
all right, so I got a question for you guys. So we're critiquing the defense, and it's a lot of critiques. I don't know if Solomon Thomas is being misused or if he's out of place. I didn't see a lot from Buckner today. I talked about Armstead, but you guys said he got injured. Keller Witherspoon coming in to take snaps from the number one guy. Keller Witherspoon taking snaps from the number two guy. I mean, honestly, what do you guys think about Robert Saleh? Is he doing too much? No one's talking about it because our defense looked better than what it did last year. Is he doing too much?
I like Robert Saleh. I like what he's done. I know he hasn't done it perfect, and I know we definitely don't need to get into the beef of whether the 49ers needed to go into prevent or not. So I don't want to go there. But
no, they actually weren't even in prevent.
I know. I was talking about the last one.
Yeah. No, I know.
I'm saying is I've liked what I've seen from Saleh so far. I can give him a little bit of a break because he's been without that Reuben Foster that he probably really needed on that team because he hasn't had a really strong linebacker in there. His best one's been Ray Armstrong.
Take me off any stops. No, I'm not giving him a pass for not having Reuben Foster.
His secondary's been trash, and the defense no pressure.
Bro, I hear what you're saying. You've only had Reuben Foster for 11 snaps. We're in week 6. That's not an excuse to not have adjusted by now. I'm sorry, it's not. I can see if you had him. I can see if you had him and you lost him during practice this week. That's one thing. But you guys just described a play where the defensive linemen were in coverage. What the fuck? You're making no, absolutely not. You're not getting a pass for that. You can't get a pass for that. That's not acceptable.
I'm not saying that he gets a pass because he didn't have Reuben Foster. I know that's what I said. That's not what I meant. What I'm saying is he gets a pass for not having a good linebacker.
Yeah, he's playing with what he's got. In my opinion, so far, well, such as what Ray has done so far, he's came in at the top of the season. We were saying he wasn't doing so great, but he improved. But nevertheless, I feel Ray, he just has a trouble tackling, especially in open field. However, he's great in coverage. He's a great coverage linebacker, but that damn long-ass screen pass they got on the sideline, that shit pissed me off when he missed that open field tackle. He didn't even get a hand on the guy.
It's weird with Ray because you either get one or the other. You never get a complete game from him where he's good in coverage and good in the run game on tackling. You get either 1 week he's really good in coverage and then the next week he's really good in tackling, but he sucks in coverage. So I don't know what's going on with Ray because I'm a big fan of Ray. I have been, but he was playing I bashed him really, really bad 2 weeks ago when we were in that prevent type defense or whatever. But I started seeing it now to where you're not getting a complete game out of Ray at all. Now today he was a little hurt, so I don't know if that had any impalement on how he was playing today. Because he did go off with 2 injuries. I don't know if it was the same injury or not. But the question about Saleh is, I like Saleh. I think he needs to get better in play design or play calling at crucial times and when he calls them. Sometimes he calls plays when he doesn't need to be calling them, and sometimes he calls plays where you're like, wait, why the hell did he just call that? But overall, for a first time being a defensive coordinator, I think he's learning the ropes and he needs to learn when to utilize plays and how to utilize the players that he has right now. So I'm not going to hold it against him. I do think that he can be a great defensive coordinator if he learns but it's very specific to him learning when to call defensive plays and when not to. When to bring the pressure, when not to. These are things that I'm seeing.
All right, so you're hitting on exactly what I wanted to say. Robert Saleh's situational football IQ is in question. That's it. It just certain situations, he just seems to be outsmarting himself. I think that in general, his defense is cool, but it's situational football where you're like, what the hell are you doing? Like the other week we were playing, I don't even remember what game it was. We had the guy. There was an off. They were driving. I think it was for halftime. Maybe it was halftime. I don't know. But they were driving. They got in field goal range. We got a sack. Then they had an offensive penalty, and then he backs all the way up, and he pretty much gave them a field goal. I think it was to end the half. All right, you guys got the field goal. We'll let you guys have the field goal, but we're not going to give it the touchdown. Why? It was third and 23. And he gave up 11 or 12 yards. He stopped the touchdown, but he willingly gave them. He backed all of his secondary up, willingly gave them enough to get back in the field goal range. His situational football sucks. It does. It absolutely sucks. And I know he's a first-year defensive coordinator, but he's been around the league long enough to know better, man. He's been in the league and he's been around some really good defenses. He should know better.
No, I can agree on that. I do think that his positioning with his players right now is definitely throwing him off. I don't want to say – I don't know if he's still trying to figure out what he can or what he can't do with these guys. And maybe that's why we're seeing these rotational switches on the outside of corners with Tart and going to these big nickels. You know, not much of big dime, but I mean, the defense overall has been okay, other than a lot of missed tackles, I think, has really killed us. A lot of missed tackles have killed us. But I do agree with you on Mike that I think that Saleh needs to learn when to call certain types of positional plays, as in, and when not to. So I can agree with you on that.
And so this is my question also. I want to ask you guys about two players in particular, because being up where I was, I didn't have the benefit of replay and things like that. And if I couldn't identify the jersey number, then I was at a loss. Did Peter or Dumerville even play today? I know that neither one of them were scratches, but did either one of them even play today? Did they do anything?
Dumerville got in when Aaron Lynch went down, I believe.
Aaron Lynch got hurt this game?
Yeah, after Eric Armstead got hurt, Aaron Lynch went in. Then Aaron Lynch got hurt, and then they put Dumerville in.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dumerville was in there. I didn't see Peta. I seen more of Cooper than Peta.
And Cooper didn't look too bad. He was making some plays.
Yeah, so let's – Mike, what you got anything else on negatives?
Yeah, I do. Offensive play calling. I feel like Kyle Shanahan wants to have a passing quarterback far too much. I think the second half, we were down one score. The opening drive, we came out, we got the field goal. We went back, we missed the field goal. And it seemed like he just completely abandons the run too much. I would love for him to run the ball a little bit more. I don't like that, man. And I'm seeing it time and time again, week after week. I hate that, man. I absolutely not that I hate that man as in Kyle Shanahan. I hate that we continue to do this. You have Carlos Hyde. Use him, bro. Like, run the ball. Like, you don't have to get a touchdown every play. Like, run some time off the clock. Give your defense a rest. And, like, let's try to, like, play real football. We don't have to be trying to put up 42 points a game, man. Like, especially because we're close in these damn things. He just abandons it too much. That play that Pierre Garçon got that penalty on at the end of the game. Do you guys know that we only needed 4 yards to be in field goal range?
Why are we passing?
But we wanted 4 yards for the safety cushion, like, just to make sure that he's comfortable making his kick. Why the fuck are we passing the ball? Why?
And the piggyback.
It's a 15-yard penalty. Game over.
We didn't have any timeouts.
Negative for our head coach. I can't stand it.
All right, so in his defense, you got to throw the ball because you got to get out of bounds. We had no timeouts left.
Middle of the field. He had no intention of getting out of bounds on that play.
Which play are you talking about?
Garçon started up the left. He ran across to the right. That they called it that pick play, and he was actually the target.
Okay, yeah.
He wasn't trying to get out of bounds. He threw the ball to the middle of the field. There was no if you're going to do that, just run the ball. If you're already in field goal range and everything that you're looking for now is just cushion, run the ball, bro. Don't outsmart yourself time and time again. Like, he's doing too much. It's simple football stuff that he's messing up, and it's costing his games.
I agree.
Let me piggyback off you said that. Let me piggyback off you. Before the damn half, and we did that 4th down conversion to get that damn touchdown, we passed the ball 3 straight times, and that frustrated the hell out of me. And that was before the penalty. That pissed me off. I don't know why we didn't run the ball. Like, weren't we at the 5 or in for the penalty? We were in distance to run. And when that flag came in, we kind of like into a point where we had to throw the ball. And then if we didn't have the balls to go forward on 4th, we would have been looking at 3 points.
Yeah.
Especially with the rookie, like, to just go outside or go to the B gap. I don't know why we don't try that, especially with Trent Brown. I don't know why we never do that shit in the red zone.
I definitely see what we're talking about there. I never thought of it during the game on that last drive to run it instead of that pass. But I can definitely see how that probably was a better play call. But I can also say that while his play calling was a weakness, it was also a strength at times because he did have some good play calls. One that was my personal favorite, technically it was the interception, but there was only one perfect way to be able to make that play call, and it had very little chance. Don't go for the Hail Mary. Run about a 20-yard play that just goes right out to the out of bounds. That gives you just enough time to get the field goal if it works, and that's exactly what he ran. It ended up being an interception, and it didn't work out. But I love that play call there, and it just didn't work out for him.
All right, so here's the thing. Kyle Shanahan, I know I said that, his play calling is a negative. I'm just talking about when he chooses to run. His play designs, listen, being up that high, there were a lot of missed opportunities by both of these quarterbacks this game, man. Like, I was basically, watching all 20. But the view that we had today, watching the entire field, people are open a lot. And these quarterbacks just don't pull the triggers or they just don't see it. And I understand that there's progressions that you have to go through and everything like that, but when this offense can be scary good if we can get a quarterback to deliver these things or see the field better. And like I said, I'm not beating up CJ at all because I know it was his first game. I'm not critiquing the quarterbacks at all. I'm just saying that as much as I'm saying I hate his play calls, I don't like when he calls these plays, but his play designs, top notch, man. I'm telling you guys. When the All-22 comes out and you know that there's certain pages on Twitter where they're going to break all this stuff down and they're going to highlight this play and this quarterback missed this and this quarterback missed that and all that, you're going to see that a lot this week because these guys are definitely not seeing the entire field. There's a lot of stuff. We're leaving a ton of yards and productivity on the field every single game.
Now I want to piggyback off that, and really all of you guys can answer. But with that being his first ever game for CJ Beathard, are you confident that he can learn to read that offense and get those extra yards that you just talked about?
I say yes. I definitely say yes because when he first got in there, just how fucking poised and confident and just natural it is. I definitely think he can pick up the offense after, like y'all was saying earlier before I got on, after he can go into practice and actually run with the first team and get more snaps. I absolutely believe that he can. Because he looks so much more poised compared to Hoyer. Because when Hoyer got in there, or was in there, anytime a rush would come and he felt it, he would just tense up. He would clam up, get scared as hell. And to CJ, he was confident. He stepped up in the pocket. He didn't panic when he felt the pressure on. He looked downfield the whole time. So yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. If you take a step back and you look, man, Hoyer just seemed flustered. I don't know if Hoyer felt that his job was on the line today, but it seemed like he was just trying so hard not to mess up that he wasn't being aggressive enough. I mean, Hoyer has been in this offense before. Hoyer was supposed to be head and shoulders above CJ Beathard. I think that when Beathard, like I said, gets all the snaps and everything, I think Beathard is a very intelligent quarterback. I think that he's going to be one of those guys that stands tall, and when the play is ready, he's going to let it rip. And you saw that today. There were times where there was a pass play to it was one of the running backs. I can't remember if it was Breida or Carlos Hyde, and it was an incomplete pass. And when I first saw it, I was like, damn it, he threw the ball too low. But then when they showed the replay in the stadium, because they counted it as a PBU for the defender, when they showed the replay in the stadium, if he had threw the ball higher, it had no chance of being completed. He threw it low enough where the running back should have been able to make the catch, but it bounced right off of his hands and they didn't catch it. I think I think he has a good shot at getting it if he can keep his composure like he's shown.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I've had this question since the whole podcast started, and I didn't want to drop it, but I'm going to. And it's going to be one of those that everybody's like, whoa, calm down. You're getting way too ahead of yourself. If CJ Beathard continues to improve on the track that we expect him to do you still want to take a quarterback with your first pick?
All right, I'll take this one. Can you guys hear me? You guys hear me, right? All right. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say something that's so unpopular. I haven't wanted a quarterback with that first overall pick at all. I have been saying that we need to get either a good offensive lineman or get a top wide receiver. Garcon isn't going to be here forever, and I think we should get a quarterback in the second round. That's been my position since the beginning, and I'm going to stick to it.
All right.
I'm not big on drafting quarterbacks high in the first round anyway, unless they really, really, really prove to have talent. Most of your talented quarterbacks now, I mean, look at Russell Wilson, look at Aaron Rodgers, look at Tom Brady. They're all late picks.
Good.
So I think it depends on CJ Beathard's play, obviously. It also depends on the Kirk Cousins situation. There's a lot that goes into it, right? And this is why I can't really talk. This is why I can't really talk quarterbacks and draft yet, because of the fact that we don't know what's going to happen. Is this Niners team going to go after Kirk Cousins? Is CJ Beathard really going to be the franchise quarterback of this team? We all knew Brian Hoyer wasn't. We knew that he was going to be a bridge quarterback in what he was trying to be. I was big on Hoyer. I'm officially off of that. I want to see what CJ Beathard has.
I want to try to completely refute everything you just said, because the way I've looked at it, this last draft, Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky. We haven't seen enough from Mitch yet, but he looks pretty good. He looks like he can be a franchise quarterback for the Bears. Deshaun Watson's looked great. The draft before that, it took Jared Goff a year and Sean McVay to start going, but he's starting to go. Carson Wentz looks amazing. The year before that, I believe, was Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
So, yes, you can look at it as I'm scared to invest that much in a quarterback, but lately it's been looking like the scouts are starting to figure it out. If there's a quarterback that's going to go in the first round, they'll let you know. And, I mean, still, Josh Rosen still seems like a very good franchise quarterback to me. Obviously, I understand it's always scary taking a risk like that, but what I want to say to summarize what I just said, if CJ Beathard continues to improve the way that he does, I don't want a quarterback. It depends on where we land as to what I want. I could definitely see us getting a wide receiver, but if we continue losing games, then it all depends on BPA at that point. I'm never really too fond on BPA anyway. That's how we ended up with Solomon Thomas, and you all know that I'm not high on Solomon Thomas. But my theory is, yeah, a wide receiver would be nice to get. A offensive lineman would be nice to get. And really, an edge rusher or a corner would be nice to get too.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. You guys know I've been on the Josh Allen hype train all by myself. I'm a conductor. I'm back in the caboose, and I'm checking all the carts and brakes while the train is riding. I'm the only person on this Josh Allen train. He's a pro-style quarterback. He had a really good season last year. He's having a down season this year. He's going to be someone that we can get either very, very late in the first round or in the second round. That's my guy. In the meantime, I think our top needs right now. The reason why wide receiver is moving up my charts right now is because we can't catch shit. Everyone's dropping things except Garcon. No one else is catching anything. And so, like no matter who we bring in here, we're going to have the same problems over and over, no matter who is our quarterback. So maybe we do need a better catching wide receiver. But I think if you take that away, if you just assume that, these guys are just getting the jitters out and they'll catch passes later, you expect those guys to improve. I don't think we have to go wide receiver first. I think that we definitely I don't even think corner is a bigger need than pass rusher. Pass rusher, offensive lineman, quarterback. So far is my order if these guys can start to catch better.
Well, I'm going to have to absolutely agree on that. I'm that guy from back in with 06 before we picked up Anthony Davis and iPod that just hated our damn offensive line and got on my damn nerves. So I'm definitely on the back of the offensive line train. But when it comes down to CJ Beathard, I think that it just tells, like, it's going to tell us the consistency. If he shows consistency and it shows that he can really lead this team somewhere, then yes, I say roll with CJ, because I am not completely sold on Cousins at all. What I look at is like his play shows up on the stat sheets, but in the game, he's nothing too magical. He's the type of quarterback that he will take you to the playoffs, and that's it. He is not a Super Bowl quarterback. He'll take you to the playoffs, get you first, second round. Other than that, that's it. He's going to be that respected quarterback, but not that quarterback that nobody's going to say, oh, man, my quarterback is Kirk Cousins. He's just not that guy. Just if you watch the game today, he was inconsistent throughout the whole damn game. Man, like
on the stats,
Kurt, yes, it shows up on the stats.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Like on paper, you're like, oh, Cousins, man, he's damn near elite. But then when you watch him, he's just like, oh, I don't know what's the big hoopla. If there was no stat sheet and you were just watching the game, you wouldn't grab him right away. So I'm not sold on Cousins at all. But I really hope CJ is the answer. You know, we only saw 3/4 from the guy. And I really hope we go O-line round one, to be honest with you. And I agree completely on the pickup receiver because nobody can catch a ball. Fucking Kittle can't get to my damn nerves, but go ahead.
And then one more thing I want to say. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just going to say I think our biggest need is receiver. We lead the league in drops. I think our biggest need is receiver right now.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to say was that I don't know how much I buy this whole, he's not a Super Bowl quarterback or he'll get you to the playoffs, but that's it. Listen, man, people have been saying that shit about Alex Smith since forever. Alex Smith was a special teams play away from going to the Super Bowl. And the season after that, Alex Smith was like 7-2, and then he got a concussion. We never put him back in. Then he goes to Kansas City, puts up 40-plus points, and they lose that game. That shit don't fall on the quarterback all the time. If your quarterback is good, he's good. If he's bad, he's bad. That's it. And if you look around the league, the reason I'm not afraid, this is a separate issue now, what I'm talking about now. The reason I'm not afraid to get one of these young guys and give them the reels is because look around the league. It is a young quarterbacks league right now, man. Everyone is talking about Deshaun Watson and how good he looks. Like Dylan was saying, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, who, by the way, also broke his collarbone today. Yeah. What the hell is going on with collarbones? But we can't sit here and say, I don't want to take a guy too early because da-da-da-da-da. If you believe in that guy, fucking get him. That's it, man. We got to stop, man. We're not going to get any younger. Like, we got to go ahead and go for it. If you got a guy that you believe in, get him. And we can't be afraid to play these guys either. The best experience is game experience. You can practice all you want.
That guy's already here, though.
There we go.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm hoping that Beathard is a guy. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just saying because Beathard was Kyle Shanahan's guy. He moved up. He went. He took him. He wanted him. He didn't want to wait for another pick. He made sure he took him. So that could be the guy. That could be eliminating completely all of this quarterback talk that all of us are talking. It's just so funny. Everybody complains that they want to see CJ Beathard and see CJ Beathard. And then even when they still get to see CJ Beathard, fans are still talking about drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Good. No, I don't know if that was a dig at Dylan, but he was just asking, do we think so? And his answer was no. So I don't know how many I was watching the presser. I hate 49er fans sometimes, man. I was watching the presser, and I kept seeing, yes, I'm still seeing it. CJ sucks, bring Cat back. Okay. Yep. Okay. You're going to judge CJ. No, bro, it was all over in the Periscope. You get, like, people were really like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. But I'm going to say this, though, and I'm gonna be done with the quarterback talk. See what CJ Beathard can do for the rest of the year. We have, 10 more games now? Or 11 games? No, 10. Yeah, we got 10 more games. Let him get all these reps and see what we've got, and then we can answer that question a little bit better, Dylan.
I want
Dylan,
to rebuttal real quick on what you said about Cousins, man. Like when you try to compare Cousins to Alex Smith looks good in the game, man. He looks good in the damn game. And you're saying that you can't really put that all on the quarterback, which I agree that you can't. But you're saying that he hasn't really can't be Super Bowl quarterbacks, but Alex Smith is yet to do so. He's yet to do so. Like your point could be supported once he really gets there. Once he gets to an AFC championship, or at least gets to the Super Bowl and loses, then I can jump on that point. But I don't agree with that. Like Alex Smith and Kirk Cousins, Alex Smith looks good in game. That's the difference to me.
Okay. So I wasn't comparing them, but for the sake of argument, let's say I was. My point with that is Alex Smith got flack because his team, his wide receivers sucked, or they were playing good defenses. Like that's my point. Kirk Cousins, yeah, he had a bad game. He had some off throws. Every quarterback has off throws. Today in particular, I think our corners actually did a pretty good job in coverage. I know the stats won't show that. Like you said, if you didn't look at the stat sheets, what did you see? I didn't see us getting a lot of blown coverages or getting deep and things like that. Watching Rashard Robinson play today, I actually like him a lot more than what I've seen on video watching the games at home. And I'll tell you why. No. Bro, listen to me. Rashard Robinson is so fucking talented and so smart. This guy uses the sideline probably better than any corner I've ever seen in a real-life game. He uses the sideline so well that we think that he's out of position. He's not out of position on any of those plays, man. He's right there, and if it goes over his head and he can't defend it, that means the ball's out of bounds. I'm telling you, this guy is a lot better than what I thought. And so Kirk Cousins was going up against a really good secondary today. Yeah, I'm talking about today. But in general, quarterbacks are just off sometimes. Tom Brady did not look good opening week against Kansas City. He had all offseason to prepare for that game. He didn't look good. That's a fact. That's not something that I'm making up. I'm just saying that if you have a quarterback who knows your playbook, who can run it, who can read a defense, who can alter plays and execute, that's a good quarterback. We've seen bad quarterbacks here in San Francisco. We saw Blaine Gabbert. We saw Colin Kaepernick. We know what bad quarterbacks look like. I don't need to keep running down the list of the J.T. O'Sullivans and the freaking Troy Smiths and shit. Alex Smith was a good quarterback. He was just afraid to let it rip. This year, everyone's riding his dick because now all of a sudden he's got a deep ball. He's not afraid to throw it. Why does he have a deep ball all of a sudden? Because they picked up that young guy who was coming to take his job in Mahomes, and now he's like, well, the only thing that he can do that I can't is throw it deep. Now he's not so shy to release the ball. That's the only difference in Alex Smith. But while he was here, people hated Alex Smith. Nobody liked Alex Smith until Harbaugh came. No one wanted to see the potential in the kid. It makes a difference as how you look at guys and how you look at the game. That's all I'm saying. And Kirk Cousins is another one of those guys. You can sit here and say, oh, yeah, it's just his stats, and they're padding his stats and stuff like that. He had an off game today. He made, I remember 4 throws that I was like, what the hell is Kirk Cousins doing? I had Redskins fans right next to me talking shit about, for some reason they kept calling him Cookie. What is that about? You heard that, right? But people were calling him Cookie today. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, people were really upset with Kirk Cousins for about 4 or 5 throws that I saw today. But for the most part, the DBs did a really good job today. The one sack that Solomon Thomas got, I don't think it was because he blew up anybody. I think it was a coverage sack. So, I mean, in matter of fact, that Kirk Cousins had where he had to run, there was nowhere to go with the ball. So sometimes you're just going to play a solid secondary, and it's going to make you have to make bad throws. So it's give and take with everybody. I'm not defending Kirk Cousins. I don't want him here if you guys think that I want Kirk Cousins or anything like that. But as far as making that comparison between him and Alex Smith, guys have bad games, and if you're confident in running your offense, they're good enough to win games. They're good enough to win the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is just another game. Playoffs are just another game. I know everyone wants to make it a bigger deal and defenses tighten up and things like that. Yeah, all that's true, but you play those same defenses a lot of times in the regular season, especially if you're going through to get to the playoffs. I mean, to get to the Super Bowl. If you're a good team, odds are you've probably played some of those guys already throughout the regular season, and you probably won a game or two against them. So that's where I'm going to stop with that.
Hey, Dylan.
Yes.
What's going on in the chat? Any questions in there from anybody or anything like that?
I forgot about it.
Not good.
Nothing much right now. People are just somebody saying they agree with Slacks on the Kirk Cousins talk. Somebody said, remember Shanahan chose CJ because he reminded him of Cousins.
Right. So overall, guys.
Wait. I'm not just going to let that go. Where did that interesting fact come from? When did he say that CJ Beathard reminded him of Cousins?
I don't personally.
Okay. I'm sorry. And one more thing. I wasn't going to say it, but since we're talking about Shanahan picking Beathard, Shanahan did say he wanted Beathard. We all have to also remember that Shanahan wasn't willing to move up to get Beathard. That was something John Lynch said he wanted to do for Shanahan. And Shanahan tried to talk him out of it. Just to be clear. I'm done.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought Shanahan really wanted him, but
Shanahan wanted him. Shanahan wanted him, and Lynch said that if I can't get the quarterback my head coach wants, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. And so Shanahan said, "It's not. You don't have to move up. I think we'll be able to get him later." But he was like, "You know what? We got the ammo. Let's just go ahead and move up. That way we can sleep better." That was John. Those were John Lynch's words.
Shanahan wanted to move up to get Joe Williams.
Yeah, true that.
Who I'm excited to see next year. I know that they basically redshirted him this year. Probably the only thing I could see is because they wanted to try to work on his fumble tendencies. But I'd love to see Joe Williams next year. I thought he played great in preseason. I thought he played better than Matt Breida did in preseason. But I'm excited for Joe Williams.
Don't smoke the Joe Williams crack.
Wait, hold on. I'm not. I watched Joe Williams in preseason. I don't think he played better than Breida, and I thought Breida played a lot better. But I gave Breida less credit because Breida was so far down on the depth chart. If that makes any sense to you guys, so he was playing against a lot of guys who aren't in the NFL right now. So I held that in my comparison. Joe Williams had an issue with learning the playbook, blocking and fumbles, which is a lot. Once he gets the ball in his hands, that's one thing. But he couldn't grasp the playbook quickly. His blocking was off, and he had fumbleitis also. So that's why I think they redshirted him. I don't know how much you can fix fumbling without actually playing, but I think they want him to get the playbook down and work on his pass blocking and just reading a defense so he knows where the blitz is coming from.
Because we don't even know what Joe Williams went out with injury on. There's still no report out about that. Like I don't think I've ever seen a report.
No, John Lynch actually said it. John Lynch actually said it this week on KNBR that Joe Williams' injury was an ankle, and that was my first time ever hearing that, believe it or not. And that's why when he said it, I was like, oh, so it was an ankle injury? When the hell did that happen? But yeah, so he said it on KNBR this week.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. So let me ask you guys a question, though. Seeing CJ Beathard's play today, do you still see this 49ers team going everybody's saying 0-16. I don't think that's true. No. But how many wins do you think if we can get CJ Beathard to play good football, how many wins do you think we get?
All right, I guess I'll kick it off. I would feel more comfortable after watching him get a full week of snaps. Right now, I think we just ran a really vanilla offense. And if what we did today is going to be the type of offense we run, which I don't think is the case, then we're probably only going to beat the Giants. But if he progresses after we see him next week, I'll have a better answer for you. That's kind of what I'm getting at. We have no idea what the offense is going to look like with him in there because he hasn't worked with the ones. They didn't develop a game plan with him and his traits and his athleticism. That's something that I know he's not going to be out there running the read option and shit like Kaepernick and Russell Wilson and Cam Newton do. He's not going to be that guy. However, they might give him a type of system where read one, read two, and then run. You know what I mean? You don't know what the game plan is going to look like. And because of his athleticism and his physical toughness, we have to see what the game, what it's going to be for me to give you a good answer. But based off of what we saw today, just the Giants so far.
I pulled up the schedule real quick, and looking through the rest of the year, Cowboys and Eagles, those are two tough ones that I'm not going to say that we're winning. But when we get the Cardinals, there's a chance, after seeing the way AP's been playing, maybe not, but Giants I think we can beat. When the Seattle Seahawks come to our stadium, I think we can win that game. The Seahawks are not what they used to be, and it's in our stadium. We almost beat them in their stadium. I think we can win that game. Other than that, if we got some lucky plays, I think we could take down the Bears, but after that, 3 wins max.
So we're finishing, you're saying, with 3 wins?
Mhm.
Fournette's down with a non-contact injury. You guys see that?
Oh, that's an ACL.
Yep.
Don't speak that up. Don't do that.
Big year and great running back, and he's down with a non-contact injury. Most likely
We can get that notification. If that's an ACL tear, that's a 4th win, because the Jaguars, even with that defense, if they don't have Fournette, that's not an offense that can do anything.
All right, so go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't know it was on me. I'm sorry. What was I supposed to be saying?
We just stop and let you talk. So
I'm not holding the phones. He's unmuting when you guys stop talking. I'm sorry. I'll answer your question better next week. Until then, though, right now, I still think even with Brian Hoyer in there, we would have been able to beat the Giants. So right now, that's all I got. I'll have a better answer for you next week.
all right, Slacks, what do you think?
I agree with Mike. It's too soon. We've only seen 3 quarters. But I do say, just like, if he just consistently plays like he did today, I see maybe 4 or 5 wins. I'm very confident in what he can do.
Let me rephrase the question then, since you guys are thinking. Does CJ Beathard, from what you've seen today, vanilla play calling or not, make this team better than Brian Hoyer in at quarterback?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, for the simple reasons, like I said earlier, he's poised. He doesn't feel like he's not thinking too hard. When pressure comes, he just steps up, tries to move. It's just small things he needs to fix, like know when to get rid of the ball, just small things like that. I definitely feel he can make us a better team, easy.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so no, the answer is no. We didn't look better with Beathard in there than we did with Brian Hoyer in there. We still had incompletions, we still had drops, penalties, but aside from all that, what I said in the very beginning of this, the only time we moved the ball was when it was 2-minute drills, and that's when you have one target to go to. It was not like he ever stopped. It's not like he ever dropped back and read a field, and you know what I mean. Like, you saw him trying to do it during the game with regular play calls, but we only moved the ball and produced anything during 2-minute drives, 2-minute drills. So
24 points.
Must have been really high up.
Hold on. Wait. Go ahead, Dylan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You must have been really high up there, because apparently you didn't see. I can only remember maybe 2 drives where Beathard didn't create points for that team.
We punted his first possession. We scored a field goal the second. We scored a touchdown the third. We missed a field goal. Then we got it back again. We scored a field goal and then scored a touchdown.
Exactly.
And this one simple fact is this: when CJ came in on his first drive, his first bad drive, he still got more yards than Hoyer did that whole first quarter.
All right, so here's my thing, guys. I said this at the game. I said it a couple of times talking to people. I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast or anything like that, but this team can only score when we're down 2 scores. It's because we run a different style of offense, man. Hoyer is great at getting garbage points. That's why we end up winning or losing these games by the margin that we do, because we get down so much. Other teams are easing up on us, man. Like, you guys got to look at the whole thing and why we're moving the ball that way that we are. We were down 2 scores when he came in. That's why we marched down the field and were able to score. And then, you talked about the punt in the first one. It wasn't a 2-minute drive, but what did Washington do in between? They went down the field and they scored. All of a sudden, we're back down 2 scores again. So they're not playing the same type of defense. They're not playing the we got to stop them right now defense. All right, like you have to look at when we got those points.
Right,
it's
but
not like
you said we can only score when we're in a 2-minute. That's what I was correcting you on.
Yeah, we can only score in 2 minutes. And by the way, 2 minutes doesn't mean there's 2 minutes left on the game. That means that's the type we're running the hurry up offense. That's the only time the team moves.
We were huddling
It's
the whole time.
It doesn't mean you're not going quickly. That doesn't mean just because you get in a huddle doesn't mean you get the ball.
When you're running a 2 minute, you don't huddle at all.
All right, so maybe I shouldn't have said 2 minute drill, but you do the hurry up offense.
I mean, he was moving fast though.
All right. What I'm saying is there's 2 times that this team scores with or without Brian Hoyer. We're down 2 scores, or it's 2 minute drive. Like we're doing the hurry up offense. That's it. And those are the only times that it feels like that I saw Hoyer. That they're doing anything. That's all I'm saying. Like it's not. It's too early to sit here and crown him better than Hoyer right now. I like him more. I have no problem saying that, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he ran the offense better. It was a vanilla offense that we ran when he came in, rightfully so, and even that was poorly executed. Look at his completion percentage. Look at it. Never mind. All right, you guys got it. He's great.
No, nobody's saying great, but you got to understand, he did come in. We got points on the board all but 3 possessions, and one of those possessions was a missed field goal.
Nobody's saying he came in and looked like prime Drew Brees and nothing like that, man.
That's all I was trying to say was vanilla offense or not, he put points up on the board other than 3 possessions, and one of those possessions was a missed field goal. I was just busting your chops because you said we can't score unless we're running a 2 minute, and we were running a 2 minute. That's all. I was just busting your chops.
No, I get what you're saying completely. I understand what you're saying, but my thing is, again, it's when we were scoring. When he came in, we were down 2 scores. We scored right before the half.
3.
Yeah, my bad. That's what I meant to say. We were down 3 scores. We scored right before the half. We came out after the half. We scored and made it a 1-possession game. They scored. We're back to a 2-possession game. And then that's when we missed the field goal. I think they ended up punting. Then we went back and scored again. But that was still a 2-possession game then. That's my point. This team only scores when we're down 2 possessions. Brian Hoyer's done it all the time. How many times have you heard Kyle Shanahan say in his post-game pressers, we need to start the way as if we're down? I heard Kyle Shanahan say it. Carlos Hyde said it today. Fucking Brian Hoyer has even said it. We need to play like we're down early on. We need to start faster. We need to start better. I didn't see CJ Beathard do. But your question was, did Beathard do anything different than what Brian Hoyer did? And my answer is still no. They both still make the errant throws. They were both still throwing ugly incompletions and inaccuracies all over the place. But it just happened to be the same type of shit. That's why we keep losing these games the same exact way that we're losing them, by 2 or 3 points every time, because we get down 2 scores, we drive, and teams are content with even if they get in the end zone, so what? They can't win, so who cares? We're getting pity points. It's garbage time stats for both of these quarterbacks.
So you still believe? Let me ask you this: so you believe that Hoyer is gonna put up 24 points from the time CJ Beathard came in until the end of the game?
We were down 3 scores. They start running prevent and shit. Yes, absolutely. You're asking me that question as if we haven't seen that happen for 4 fucking weeks straight. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what happens. It happens every week.
You're making the key plays that CJ making.
Plays.
Is Hoyer okay on that play where CJ went to the sideline down the damn hash and he made that first down and he tiptoed, got the little extra yards? Is Hoyer making that play?
Say that one more time.
The play, I think, was at the end of the game. We got that where CJ ran for that first down out to the left, and he tiptoed down the sideline, got the little 12-yard run. Is Hoyer doing that play? Is Hoyer also making that play to Robinson? Is he stepping up in the pocket and scrambling a little bit? Yeah. Hoyer's making that play.
Hoyer made the play to Robinson. Yes, like he's not going to run for anything. That's not the kind of quarterback he is. Hoyer's not that guy.
But that's what opened that play up, was Beathard's run before that.
So you guys is the question, are we going to score points the same way, or is the question, can Beathard do things that Hoyer can't? Because that's not what the question was. You guys are pinpointing 2 individual plays. That's not what you asked. No, what would you like me to answer?
He asked a new question. He asked you,
He asked me about two. He asked me about two particular plays. The one play where Beathard scrambled down the sideline, no, Hoyer wouldn't do that. But the play where he throws the ball to Robinson, yes, but Robinson probably would have dropped it if it was Hoyer. Like, we've seen that happen time and time again.
Hoyer's not keeping his eyes upfield for that damn pass.
Okay.
I said in the group chat that I was more impressed with the Aldrick Robinson catch than I was the throw.
Exactly. We've seen good throws just get dropped. Hoyer has put dimes on people from the beginning of the season. You guys don't remember all the talk about, damn, Marquise Goodwin dropped another one. Week 2, damn, he dropped another one. Damn, Kittle dropped one. Damn, Kittle dropped another one. All of those things were touchdown passes. We said that 4 consecutive weeks.
Damn,
Wait a minute. I think you just answered your own question. You said he would have dropped it if it was Hoyer, right?
Well, he's saying because the receivers don't help Hoyer.
That's the case closed.
And by the way, the receivers didn't help Beathard either. That was just one that he came down with, that 66-yard play. Or whatever it was, however that play was. Yeah, the 46-yard play, I think it was. But yeah, I know what play you're talking about. What I'm saying is it's give and go. Like, Hoyer has made plays down the field. It's not like Beathard's going to do that on a time in and time out basis, and Hoyer wasn't doing that. Hoyer has made those throws. Hoyer hasn't made those scrambles and tiptoeing on the sideline. I'll give you that. But Hoyer's not that. It's not like Hoyer wasn't making some throws that players weren't catching. Guys, listen. I'm sorry. I'll let you guys rebuttal, but after that, I have to go. I can't see shit. It's dark as hell out here, and I got this flash in my face so you guys can see me. I got to get off of this.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're pretty much going to wrap it up anyway. But Dylan, you got anything else to say? Did the Niners win next week?
I just want to respectfully disagree with Mike. I honestly do think that C.J. Beathard is playing better than Brian Hoyer. Even if it doesn't show up, I mean, I've watched them both play. And after that game, it was the first game this season that I felt happy.
Yes.
All the other games, I've just felt sad and hated life. Okay? After this game, I was like, oh, we were so close. But I got to see that, and he looked good.
Yeah, see, all the other games, they feel like we're fighting. This game feels like, oh, we have a chance.
Okay. So the game where Hoyer threw a touchdown pass at the end of the game, but it was called – no, my bad. The game where we lost by 2, I don't remember who the opponent was. Hoyer throws that pass to Trent Taylor, but they got called for the offensive pass interference. We didn't have hope then? We didn't lose the same fucking way today?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what I meant there because I knew that was coming. Going into each of those games, while the game's going, in my mind, I knew we were going to lose. I was like, oh, we might be able to do this. But in my mind, I could feel it. We were going to lose. For some reason, in my mind during this game, I was like, we're going to win this. We are going to win this.
Yeah, see, with the Hoyer, it feels like, oh, I hope he can do it. With CJ, it's like, oh, I know he can do it.
I don't know shit that CJ can do because we hadn't seen him yet. But this is what I want to answer Nick's question. Like I said, I got to get off here because this glare in my eye is killing me. I enjoyed you guys talking and everything too. Nick asked, are we going to win next week? I will say this. We have a much better shot at winning next week for a couple of reasons. One, no Ezekiel Elliott. 2, we're home. Yeah,
maybe on Zeke.
We have an idea what this offense is going to look like under a different quarterback. So it's a brand new game plan, brand new tendencies and all that stuff to study. We actually have a much better shot now that Beathard is in of winning because of the unknown than we did with Hoyer. Hoyer, you already know there's plenty of film out on him with this offense and what his strengths and weaknesses are. And if you can get behind him and just bark, he's gonna ball up and crumble. C.J. Beathard ain't gonna do that. And so because of the unknown, we have a better shot at beating the Cowboys this week than we did with Hoyer. Absolutely.
Slacks, we gonna win next week?
Yes.
We
I need to elaborate. Just yes.
I didn't spend fucking $500 and some odd already to go to the fucking game to see us lose, so we better fucking win. And I haven't even got my goddamn room yet or my rental car. So, Jesus, Christmas. But I should have just waited because ticket prices would probably go down. But then again, it's the Cowboys, so we probably definitely won't go down. But I do think we're gonna. I can tell you one thing: it's gonna be close. But
That's gonna be cool.
yeah, well,
I
because
can
that's
tell you
just
another thing.
all of our games.
If the Dallas Cowboys lose to the 49ers that haven't won a game yet, no Dallas Cowboy fan will hear the end of it from me. I will bury them into the ground.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We're gonna be live from there next week. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Whether we win, lose, or fucking tie, it's still gonna be so much fun. So, yeah, if you guys are gonna be at the game next week, hit us up. You can DM us on Twitter at NothingBut9ERS. And you can find us on Facebook, Nothing But Niners. You can find us all our articles, our videos, everything's on NothingBut9ers.com. You can find us on YouTube, obviously. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Our subscribers are significantly growing, guys. We've only been doing this since March. We love all the appreciation and love that we get from all of our fans. But yeah, man, make sure you add us on Snapchat because Snapchat's going to be live next week as well as it was today. And we're always on there. Send us a message anywhere you can find us. Make sure you listen to our podcast coming out, our Behind Enemy Lines, our Nothing But Fantasy hosted by Dylan and Steve Mullen. I'll let Dylan explain where you can find him at. I'll let Slacks explain where you can find him at. And then I'll rebuttal that, and we'll end this thing.
All right. You can find me on Twitter. My ad is DylanFrazier98. I really don't do anything else. I'm not on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram, but I don't do anything on there. So really, if you just follow me on Twitter. That's it. DylanFrazier98. I'm always tweeting about 49ers, and I'll throw some fantasy stuff in there too. You can definitely get updates on when we are going to be recording Nothing But Fantasy because it's being a college student and one that works too. It's kind of whenever I can do it. So there's usually not a set week or a set day of the week, but definitely give us a look. And we are always accepting live questions on there. If you have any questions about your fantasy lineup for the week, or really if you want to jump in, I don't care.
Yeah, that'll be good to have a guest on your Nothing But Fantasy show. Just get their input and stuff like that as well. Slacks, where can you be found at, buddy?
You can follow me on Twitter at Slacks in 215. That's SLACKZ215. Follow me on Twitter.
215. Slacks 215. SLACKZ 215. You can find me on Twitter as well at the Nothing But 9ERS handle, as well as 49er Faithful 365. That is my personal handle. You can hit me up anywhere you need to. Guys, remember, if you're going to be at the game next week, hit us up. Let us know where all the hot tailgates are at. We'll come around. We'll hit up with you guys, and we'll get you on our video or get an interview out of you. Make sure you send your pictures over, guys, of your game day pictures so we can put them on our website. That's nothingbutniners.com. You can email those to us at nothingbutniners@gmail.com. Guys, I know we're 0-6. The Niners are actually playing better football than we have last year and probably the year before. They're very close games. Don't ever give up on your team. Don't love this team because of a certain player. Love this team because of the name on the front, not the name on the back. I wish the best of Bowman. As I said, I love Bowman, but I don't take quitters on this team. I'm all about the team on the front instead of the name on the back. But guys, like I said, above all else, man, stay faithful. We out.